Hello everybody, I'm Saika Ichigo Kimishiro Arclight, and today I'm going to be doing a comparison video between Clip Studio Paint and Paint Tool Sai, which are my go-to digital artwork softwares for my anime artwork. So yeah, two disclaimers before we start this video. The first being, I apologize if I stutter or I mutter. I have the tendencies of doing that a lot, but I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum to not doing it all and be as clear and concise as possible. So yeah, let's see if I can do that. Second, I will admit that there is a little bit of biasy here. I've been using Paint Tool Sai ever since 2014, and I just downloaded Clip last year in 2019 in November, and though I do like the software a lot, and I'm definitely going to be as fair as possible, I will admit that I just used the software to make a full illustration just last week. If you want to see me make that illustration, I will link to that down in the description somewhere below. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm making this video if I don't seem qualified, and yeah, I probably am not qualified to make a video like this, and there's probably been a lot of other people who made this video topic a lot better than I am. But I hope you kind of find something new that you haven't heard in my video, or at least heard differently than what you may have seen in other people's videos. I'm going to go through each detail and just kind of compare them and give my thoughts on which one I think is better. My thoughts are probably going to differ from your thoughts. However, I hope that you are able to create your own opinion on which software you think is better. And I hope that if you haven't bought either software, this might help you decide. So yeah, let's get into it. First, I made this little chart, and that is how I'm going to be judging these. Yeah, I'm going to be judging these softwares. These icons are made by my friend Yakumo Sokui. My character is Kailan Azura, but anyway, I digress. I'm going to be judging price and website, installation, layout of the screen, structure. I'm not really sure why I called it that, but that's basically the tools that are located on the top of the screen usually, like file, edit, canvas, and layers. Colors, which includes the color wheel, the editor, and color palettes. Layers, which are the individual layers themselves, and the layer modes and the options you can do with those layers. Filters, which are located at the top of the screen next to the edit and canvas. Those usually add a little bit of color or allow you to edit things. Basic tools like the transform, zoom, edit, etc. Drawing tools, anything you draw with, how you can edit it, and the size of the brush. And add-ons, anything that does not come with the software when it is already installed. I'm going to be deciding, are they easy to use, their performance value, what are their limits, and yeah. What I mean when I say performance value is how well the brush performs. Is it really good? Is it slow? Or is it too fast? And what are its limits? Basically meaning, how far can I go with this as an artist? Or will it actually not go far at all? So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with price and website. I apologize for any noise you might be hearing in the background. I'm hoping you're not hearing it at all, but who knows. Anyway, we're going to start with Paint Tool Sai. This is the Paint Tool Sai official software website, and it says copyright 1996 at the top. And personally, I don't think it's been updated since 1996, so yeah. So this is where you download Paint Tool Sai. The reason why I'm including websites in this, because if you don't have either one of the softwares, I think you might want to just take a peek at it. There are videos that I looked up to tell you how to download it, although I will give a quick disclaimer. I did actually not download these. I paid for them, but I did not do the purchasing or the transaction. I have left that all to my brother. He is way more tech savvy than I am, and he's the one who just did it for me because it was very important to me and I wanted to do it right. I'm not sure if I could have done this myself. He said the website was a real pain to deal with because he says it has not been updated in a while, and judging from how small it is on my screen, I'm going to assume, yeah. So anyway, you can buy this in Paint Tool Sai version 1 and version 2. I am comparing version 1 because that is the most popular version, I think. At least it's the one I see people using the most, and it's the one I have. Both of them are $50, a little bit, maybe a few dollars more than $50, depending on where you live. But for me, it was 50 American dollars. And although it was a pain to deal with, once I bought it, it was fine. And the biggest pain was the fact that they didn't take debit, so that was my biggest problem. But yeah, I'm not sure if they take PayPal, but that said, for me, the website is like a huge negative, so I'm just gonna put an X on it. But I really do hope this doesn't discourage you. The price is nice though, $50 pay once for either version 1 or version 2. So yeah. Now for Clip Studio Paint. This website is a lot more professional and definitely updated. And as you can see on the top, it says features, tutorials, community, material, support, and downloads. So yeah, it also gives you a free trial. I think Paint Tool Sai gives you a free trial as well, but it only lasts 1 day. Whereas Clip pretty much lasts forever, I think, but I never actually used it. So if you really want to figure this out for yourself, you can download the free trial. Also, Clip goes on sale a whole lot. So let me just click this. This is the price. This is EX and this is Pro. Once again, I'm going to be comparing Pro because that is the version I see used the most and it is the version I have. EX has more features to it, and if you go onto materials, I think it will go into detail of what they do and do not have, and you can decide for yourself. But like I said, for the sake of this video, I'm doing Pro because I don't know anything about EX. But the price is just $50, same as Sai pretty much, and it is really easy to buy. It takes all of this stuff right here, so that's really easy, and it was very easy to like, had no problems at all. And in addition, the installation was really easy, so I'm gonna put a check for its price, actually a check plus, because like I said, it goes on sale a lot. It actually just was on sale yesterday. It ended. Sorry about that. I couldn't get the video on in time, but yeah, it goes on 50% off quite often, and so then the price is only $25, so that's really cool. Once you download both softwares, I'm gonna exit on this. I think they pretty much are both easy to install. I pretty much did that myself. I didn't really need my brother's help, if I remember correctly. So yeah, so far we're actually having Clip win, so yeah. But now let's get into the softwares themselves. I'm going to open both of them up, and right from this point, I think you can probably see the next problem. And that is Clip Studio Paint runs a lot slower than Paint Tool Sai. I do not know why. I'm not sure if this is a problem with my computer, but even if it is a problem with my computer, I will admit I don't fully understand it, since like I said, Sai has no problem running at all. The only time Sai has any problems in slowness is if I'm just doing a lot of stuff really fast and it takes a while to register it, or if my canvas is just ridiculously big or has a lot of information stored on it. But that said, I really do recommend Clip as well. I'm going to recommend both these softwares. This is just me deciding which one do I recommend a little bit more. But anyway, this is the main page of Clip. You can actually make an account and stuff like that, and they have all of this stuff here, which I'm going to go into more detail at the end. But anyway, this is what you click to open up the main drawing program. Now, if you want to skip this and just go straight to the drawing program, you can do what I've done, where I pin this down on the screen. Another icon will appear next to the Clip icon for the website, and then you can just click it and open it up. Also, I will say that if you do not have internet, this will not appear. You won't be able to access this. However, you do you are able to access the drawing program itself. Sai is not dependent on the internet whatsoever. But anyway, so yeah, these are both the websites. The layout is really nice with both of them. I think my biggest gripe with Clips is it's just got so much stuff. I think if you're coming from more of a loaded drawing software, like if you were drawing on Photoshop and now you're drawing on Clip, this probably isn't as overwhelming. But if you're coming from Sai to Clip, to me this was very, very overwhelming. So yeah. But that said, I really did enjoy this software, and the one upside I got to it is its dark mode. I'm not sure where you can change it at. I think it's probably in Windows, but you can edit the screen to look either white or this black color. I have really sensitive eyes, so yeah, this black color comes right in handy. So with Sai, the big one is the layout's really easy and really familiar with. I'm gonna open up the canvas so you can see more. And I have no problem navigating myself around it, and I picked up on everything pretty fast. But the screen is very, very bright and very, very powerful, so it kind of hurts my eyes sometimes. But yeah, so I'm probably just gonna give these like screen layout. Is it easy to use? A check for Sai. I'm probably gonna put a neutral on this because I think it just depends. But for me, if I was more making this a little less biased, I would probably just put an X. But I don't know, performance value. I'm actually probably gonna put an X for me, just because it is slow. I'm not sure if this is a problem I just have, although one of my friends has Clip Studio Paint and she says it runs too slow for her to use. I've never had it run that slow, and although there is times it lags, I do not think it has gotten so bad where I can't even use it. No, I know it hasn't. What are its limits? Now, just looking at the screen layout, I think it's definitely got good limits. Paint Tool Sai. What are its limits? I think its limit. I just noticed these things are backwards. Anyway, performance value, good, and what are its limits? Good. So, yep, now we're going to go into structure, which are these buttons up here. I'm just going to show you what this one has and what they aren't. I'm not going to go into any details on what they do, because I've already made a video like that on Sai, and I'm not qualified to do that yet on Clip. Although maybe in the future, once I'm more familiar with it, like 100 years from now, if the world doesn't blow up, I'll go into it. But anyway, for file, you just have your basic new, open, create from clipboard, open recent, save, save as, export, always use view file viewer, open file by file viewer, and save by file viewer, close, and then exit, which closes the program up. And then you've got your undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, and copy by selection for the edit, canvas, change resolution, change size, crop by selection, fill horizontal, flip vertically, rotate counterclockwise, rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And then layer, new line art layer, new layer set, copy, delete, erase, transfer down, merge visible, flatten image, fill, raster size, line art layer, reset pressure info on all CPs, luminosity to transparency, transform, flip horizontally, flip vertically, rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, and rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and rename. I've actually never used this. There's the button, everything that's usually here has a button, or it has a shortcut, and that's usually what I use. Selection, clear, invert, show, increments by 1, select CP by selection, select strokes, clear, CP selection, and select all. Filters, I'll go into more detail on that. New, close, this is in the view section by the way, new, close, close all, zoom in, zoom out, flip horizontally, flip 90 degrees clockwise, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, non-scaled, reset transformation, reset rotation, new canvas, shows how much you're zoomed in right there in the percentage value, and select view from list. Windows, this basically tells you what is visible and what is not visible. So I'm not really going to go over this, but basically this is like your color section. This is your navigate right here. So if I click this, my navigator is now in view, but I don't really like that there. Cursor show brush button, that shows the thing as that little check mark, or you can do it as a dot. And hides control panels. That was really freaky. I hid the control panels and I had no idea what I did. So yeah, that was freaky. Full screen, which basically makes this entire thing take up your entire screen. I also had that happen to me and not know what it does, so that was creepy. Show layer panels to the right, show color panels to the left. Basically, if you want this over here or that over there, and reset windows to all positions. And then this is Ever, which includes your help topics, keyboard shortcuts, options, system ID, version info. So yeah, let's go over this with Clip, see what it has and what it doesn't. Basically your usual new, create, open, recent, close, save as, save duplicate, which is a new button, which means you can save a duplicate file of this if you do not want to save it on the original. Revert, which if I had to imagine, it's probably something to do with reverting the file back to its original thing before it was saved once, but I'm not sure. All I know is it's not on Paint Tool Sai, so I'll just leave it at that. Export to a single layer, which means all your layers will be gone and it will just be one whole entire layer. Well, they won't be gone, they'll all be compressed to one layer. Export animation, this is if you're making an animation. Unlike Sai, this is actually capable of working on animation itself. I have had made animation with Sai, but in ways of me making individual frames and then just using a movie software to run them through and make them into a file. And I made one GIF in GIMP. Anyway, print settings and print directly. You cannot directly print from Paint Tool Sai. You have to do it from a different software, so that's nice. Preferences, which is basically like how you want this thing to be arranged, and this is actually where you well, I'm blind. That's where you switch that. And then you can adjust the density of how light and how dark. I want everything black. Yeah, anyway, preferences, shortcut settings, so that they're in here instead of in the Ever section. In fact, this doesn't have an Ever section. Modifier key settings, command bar settings, which are right here on which are like command bar settings, tab mat controller, Clip Studio tab mat controller. I do not know what those do. I'm sorry. I'm just going over what's different. I'm not going to explain how it works, and I apologize. Pen pressure sensitivity, which is if you're using a tablet that's controlling the pen pressure. In Quadrant and Open Clip Studio and Quit Clip Studio. Okay, so then you have your edit, which is basically your undo, redo, cuts, paste, deletes. They have smart shooting, which I have no idea what it does, but it's different. Colorize technology preview, which is colorize, use hint image and colorize, use more advanced settings. I have no idea what that does. Change color of lines to drawing. If I had to guess what that does, I'm so sorry. This is just showing me how bad I am. Convert to brightness to opacity. I'm just gonna open up something random and see what this does because I do not want to be in the dark. I'm gonna do it on my Azura template. I'm just going to. Okay, so this like makes everything black. I imagine if you had this on line art and preserve opacity, it would change to the yeah, it would change to the color you have selected. So that was pretty much what I thought it would be. Color, brightness to opacity. Okay, so that kind of makes it transparent and gray and white. And then you have your transform, tonal correctionist, which is like if you need to like adjust things in its brightness and its contrast, and I imagine it's hue, saturation, polarization, I think I said polymerization. I've got UKGX on my mind apparently. And then change image resolution, change canvas, rotate, invert canvas, canvas properties, clear memory, which is basically your history, because this has a history in case you want to go back. Well, Paint Tool Sai has one, but you can't edit it. And obtain color by screen. Now this I do know what it does. It basically allows you to go on the screen and directly select the color. And if you do obtain by hiding windows, then you can actually do it on different windows, which is like really cool. And yeah, so basically what you can see in here, this is the entire animation selection. I'm not even going to go into that because Paint Tool Sai does not have it at all, and I have no idea what I need to do. This is the layer section. You have a new raster layer, which is a normal layer. I don't know why they call it that. New layer, new correction layer, new layer folder, new layer folder, an insert layer, undergirl layers folder, undergroup layer folder, duplicate layer, delete layer, layer mask, ruler frame, which I'm going to get more into in the tools, file object, layer settings, selection from layer, raster size, convert layer, transfer layer, merge selected layer, merge visible layer, and merge visible to a new layer, and flatten image, and layer and change selected. And then you have your select, which is your select all, deselect, yada yada. Expand, shrink, blur borders, which basically if you got something selected, it will blur the borders of it. Select color gamut, select overlapping vector, select quick mask, and convert selection. I think I'm going to speed this up because I think I'm already 24 minutes into this video. Oh wow, we're going to really... Okay, then you have your view. I'm basically going to talk about what's different now. Scroll bar, which if I have no idea. Oh, wait. Okay, I think that's that right there. That's what I turned off. Basically, what's visible, it's like with Sai, what's visible and what's not. It's got a lot more stuff, but that's because it has so much more stuff listed. And then you've got your help. Paint Tool Sai's help was listed in the Ever section, and whereas this one has its entire link for help, and it's basically on check license, register license, support, instruction manual, getting started, something I probably should have clicked, training and tutorials, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go hog wild with this stuff when I'm done. Like I said, I'm insane. Anyway, is it easy to use? I'm gonna put a no. Performance value, good. What are its limits? Good. For Sai, is it easy to use? Yes. Performance value, I'm gonna say good. And what are its limits? I'm gonna say neutral, so I'm gonna put this here for neutral. I think I already said that was here. But yeah, I do think, and that's basically what you have, and the biggest difference with these two programs. Sai is a lot more simpler and has a lot less features in it, so because of that, it's a lot more limited. But because it's so much simpler, it's easier to be picked up by noobs, and it is easier to get the hang of and just go right into. Clip has a whole bunch more features, and if you are unaware of any of them, it is a lot harder to get used to and a lot harder to use. But let's just finish doing comparison. Oh boy, here we go. Colors, and yeah, so let's go into this. This is the color section right here for Sai, this little box. So what you've got here is actually, you can make everything invisible or visible. You've got your color wheel, your red, green, blue monitors, which helps you adjust or helps you determine how much red, green, and blue are in colors. You've got your hue, saturation, and vividness, again, to tell you to adjust something, or in case you just want to figure out the measurements of something to help you adjust it in Ever program. You have the darkness value, but I have no idea why there's 4 monitors since they all move the same. So I don't really get that. I never use any of these actually. I only use this color wheel and the color palette. Oh man. Words are not coming easy to me today. Anyway. Okay, so basically what this does, I'm going to open up the same picture, is it allows you to put colors that you make here, or you can use the color picker to put colors you make here, and basically just make your own palette. These colors up here are colors that I put here myself for line art, skin colors, and everything. The colors that I use the very most. And then I leave this section all down here for the colors that I need for illustrations. So yeah, basically that's what that is. They also have the color swatch, which is things where you can like test things out, but you can't use the color picker here, and it's good for if you want to know what kind of texture you got for a brush, but that's pretty much all. I hardly ever use this at all. Anyway, let's go to clips now. This is the color section right here. Once again, everything is hidden, but this is the color wheel. You can have it be viewed in HSV, which is the square, which I'm guessing what his size is as well, or HLS, which is the triangle. I have no idea what those letters stand for, but I'm just calling them triangle. If I had to make a guess, probably hue, saturation, and vivid, while this is hue. I have no idea what the L stands for, and saturation, but yeah, that's what you can have it be viewed in those separate ways. I personally like the square because it's more similar to Sai. And then you have your red, green, and blue monitor. I'm gonna open back up that picture so that way I can have something to work with. And then you have your color palettes. Now this is where I actually don't like it, and it's not just because I'm a goob at it, is you have these set color palettes which are really nice, like they're your default colors, your additional colors, your bright tones, your dark grayish tones, your deep tones, your dull tones, grayish tones, light paler, light tones, I think I'm clicking some of them at the same time, pale tones, soft tones, strong tones, and vivid tones. And yeah, I don't really like the idea of pre-made palettes because I'm just not really into that. You can delete a color though, and I think you can add one. Yeah, you can delete and add here. So say you don't like this and you can change it up on your own. But I don't know, I just rather have something be empty. Like, I don't mind these Ever ones, but I rather have at least one entirely empty and just make my own thing. But since they're all here, I guess I could delete them all, but that would be a lot of work for me, and also I'd have to decide which one I would want. Then they have intermediate color. I can barely see this, and I guess that's just how light and how dark you want it. Like if it's here, it's dark. If it's here, it's vivid, and here, it's like, it's just white on both ends. I don't know. And then you have color history. Now this I do like. This is every color that you use within a certain amount of its history. Memory is limited, but it's basically like, boom. Now a new color has appeared. And that's just everything that you've used. So that's really handy. So for color, I'm definitely going to put, is it easy to use? I think so, yes. First clip. Performance value, I think it's kind of a neutral for me. No, I think it's neutral on what are its limits, and performance value is definitely good. That history is nice. Whereas Paint Tool Sai, it's easy, has good performance value, and I actually think I'm going to give it a check for its limits. Personally, I just mostly use the color. I don't actually use this color. I don't use color wheels that often. I just like them because they look pretty. But most of the time, I just do that and then just do that. So that's pretty much all I need. Is a little color template here. I usually, if it's a character that I'm drawing that is not mine, like fan art, then I might adjust it to something that I like. But rather than that, I just do that all the time, so I don't actually use this stuff that often. Anyway, going on to layers, because we're wasting time. How long is this video already? 33 minutes, so let's see if I can finish the rest of it in 33 minutes. But anyway, layers. You have your new layer, which is for some reason called a raster layer. I have no idea what that means. New vector layer, which is for let's see, this doesn't seem like anything special, but I imagine it has something to do with the 3D application of this. And then you have, then you have a new folder layer, transfer to a lower layer, combine layers, 2 layer below, create a mask, and then apply mask to layer, and then delete layer. And then for its right here, this just basically highlights a layer and what you want it to be highlighted as. So let's say you want to do pink, and I think that's pretty much all. Yeah, that's just all it does. It highlights the layer, which can come in handy. And then you have your clipping group. So yeah, that's what that is. Delete. And then you have your selection source, which I do not like the selection source here. It's just that little pin, and like I said, I have power vision, so this is hard for me to see, but I guess I could always do that if I wanted to. But just that little pen icon appearing underneath the pen, and this is what it would look like if it's not selected, that isn't really enough for me. And then you have set as draft layer, which I'm assuming means like this draft sketch, but I have no idea. Lock, which means you can't do anything on this layer. That's if you want to just like not touch that layer. And then lock transparency pixels. This allows you to, it's the same thing as preserve opacity in Sai. Allows you to only draw on what you already have. And then you have these buttons here, which are enable mask and set off ruler area. And then you have your opacity of the layer, and then your layer modes, which are a lot more than Paint Tool Sai. You've got darken, multiply, color burn, light burn, subtract, lighten, screen, color dodge, glow, add glow, overlay, soft light, hard light, different, vivid, line art, pin light, hard, exclusion, darken color, lighten color, vivid, hue, saturation, and brightness. So yeah, definitely a lot more, and I went through all of them loosely, and there are, some of them seem kind of pointless to me, like they seem a little similar to the other one, while some of them you can do some pretty cool, amazing effects with. And anyway, then you have all of that, which is your history on what you did on the layer, and then your auto correction, which right now it's on detail. Like these are things that will automatically correct certain functions. So yeah, that's your layer section. And I'm just seeing, this is a part, yeah, this is expression color. This basically, do you want a color, do you want a gray, do you want a monochrome? Oh, that looks weird. And then transparency, color, and yeah, so that's what that is. I'm gonna open back up again, and there we go. And now let's go into Paint Tool Sai. I'm not sure if I missed anything. This is the navigator section, which is what size navigator is, and I don't use either one of them, so I'm probably gonna make them disappear. But anyway, size layer. Like I said, a lot less, but this is what you basically have. You have your new layer, your line art layer, which I went into more detail on what this is, but basically this is a special layer where you can make line art. A lot of people don't like this tool. I, however, find it quite fine, especially if you're a beginner. You can make stiff lines like that, straight lines like this, or you can use a pen. And I think what's good about this tool is it can help you make adjustments to things that you don't like. But anyway, a lot of people don't like that. You have your folder, your merge down, which does that, your transfer down, which just cuts it and puts it all in one, your erase, your delete, and your masking. Merge layer down to mask individually, and apply mask layer. This is your masking tool, which is that, and I had never used this like at all. And I've owned Sai for almost 6 years now, and I still don't know how it works, even though I've looked up videos and everything. But anyway, then you have your selection source. This selection source is highlighted in a nice green color, so it makes it easier for me to see. Clipping group, which is represented as a pink bar, just like in, let me make another layer. Pink bar right on the side, just like clipping group on Clip Studio Paint. Preserve opacity, which basically, like I said, locks it down. It does not have a lock layer, so that kind of sucks if you don't like it, but at the same time, I kind of turned that on several times and I didn't know it was on, so for me, it doesn't matter. You have your opacity, which is how you want to view the layer. Then you have your modes, which are multiply, screen, overlay, luminosity, shade, lumi shade, and binary color. I definitely know that Paint Tool Sai version 2 has more, but I don't know. For me, this is all I've ever needed. But it could be because I'm not spoiled. You also have your fringe, which, just go into that real quick. Basically adds, I can't really see it on this, so I'm going to make it into there. Yeah, it basically makes like a little rim around your drawing, and how much you want it and how thick you want it. So yeah, and then you have your textures, which is watercolor A, watercolor B, paper, and canvas. So yeah, in the end, for layers, I would give this, is it easy to use? Yeah, performance value, good. What are its limits? Very good. Easy to use, good. Performance value, good. Limits, I'm going to probably put a neutral. For me, I think it's fine, but you are a little bit more limited. So yeah, let's go on to filters next, which is the button up here, which I skipped. This is your hue, saturation, and yeah, it basically changes the colors to something else you want. Azura is red, no, she's green. Saturation, which is how vivid you want, meaning if you want it to burn your eyes or do you want it to be grayscaled. It comes in handy when you're adjusting things individually. And then your luminosity, which is how bright and how dark you want it. And you also have your brightness and contrast. Brightness makes it like more vivid, but at the same time making it brighter. Contrast, oh, that hurts my eyes. Makes it more, well, contrast. And that makes it just like one gray. It like makes it more vivid at the same time as making it more sharper. And then color deepen, which is like the vividness and the grayscale of it. So yeah, that's probably not explained the best. But anyway, let's go to the filters on here. You have a lot more filters here, and I don't know how well they're going to show up, but you have blur, strong lines, and as you can see, everything's kind of actually blurry now. Yeah, that's definitely blurry. And then you have Gaussian blur, motion blur, radical blur, smoothing, correction lines, which is adjust lines, swiftness, and remove dust. That's if you were having individual line art. Would not work on this. Distort, curve surface, fisheye lens, which is basically that right there. which is really, really cool. Pinch, polar coordination, ripple, swirl, which is also really cool. Yep, so this is really, really cool. And distortions, wave and zigzag. Effects, artistic, mosaic, and move JPEG noise. And then you have your sharpen, sharpen more, which just kind of crisp up the drawing. That actually looks nice. Oh, too sharp. And unsharp mask layer, which I guess applies if you have a mask layer, which I don't. Anyway. So yeah, let's go on to, is it easy to use? Yes, I believe both are. Performance value, very good. In fact, actually, wait, I forgot what performance value is. Performance value is how well it performs, and as you can see, it was making my computer hum a little. So I'm probably going to put a neutral on it. What are its limits? Very good. I'm going to put a plus on there. Performance value, good. It doesn't make my computer hum at all. And what are what are its limits? I'm going to put a neutral on that one because it doesn't do much. Comes in handy, but it doesn't do much. Anyway, we're on to the final three. So we're going to be judging basic tools, which are everything right here. You've got your selection, your lasso, your wand, your mover, your magnifying glass, which I never use anyway because I just have it set to scroll, so that's a waste for me. Your rotator, which are also found up here, by the way, which are like, you've got your like backwards, your zoom in a certain amount, you're rotating a certain amount, which is what I use. I don't use that. Your invert to get a look at your drawing. Inverted does not last though. And then your stabilizers, which are set to the highest for me. And then you've got your grabber, which kind of takes you around the canvas, like, yeah, basically helps you climb around the canvas. Again, I don't do that because I just scroll around. It's much more simpler than clicking a whole bunch of things. And then your color picker, which basically helps you grab any color. And then for Sai, your basic, clip. Your basic tools are actually right here. You've got your magnifying glass. Again, I don't use that. Your grabber, which helps you move around the canvas. I don't use that. Your move. Now this is a little bit more detailed. You have move layer, move tone patterns, and move grid. That is in case you have a grid or a tone pattern set up, I guess. And then this is your objects. Magic wand, same settings as the magic wand here. They're just in a different place. You have your pen selector, which I actually thought Sai only had, although it's a little bit more complicated, as you just saw. And in addition, you can't add more unless you hit critical. So I got this selection right here, and right now I can only move it, and I have to do something, and I'm still on it, then it will still keep moving around. Plus, if I want to add more to that selection, then I can't do that because that makes it disappear. So instead I have to push critical. So that's a little bit more annoying. But besides that, it works the same. And then you have your eyedrop tool, which is pick up on display color, which is any color that's in display, or pick up from a color from a layer. So meaning, let's say you got this here and this here. Let's do this in here. This only picks the colors that are on the layer itself. Well, if I was going to obtain just display color, then that would pick that color, even though I'm not on that layer. So yeah, that's how that works. So that's a little nicer. It's a little more detailed. So yeah, your transform and everythings are actually located on your, I just saw them, where are they? Your selection somewhere. Animation, edit, oh, your transform, and it's actually located here, and it does the same thing, but it's a little bit more annoying, or you can set up a shortcut like I did. So, yeah. But, so the transform tool is not right there. But rather than that, I would probably give these, is it easy to use? Pretty much. Performance value, good. What are its limits? I think they're good. Same thing with Sai. To me, I'm not picky on these tools. If they work, they work. I was a little annoyed by the transform tool being up there instead of right here. I mean, you have this, but that's not the same. But besides that, everything's easy. Now on to the best part of the drawing program, the drawing tools. Which let's do Sai first. I think I'm going back and forth on what I'm doing. For Sai, you have all your drawing tools right here, and I've got a few more here, but this one all the way down to these ones, that's just an extra eraser, but all the way down from Hyane Natsu, which is what I call that pen, to Pro Blur, which is what I call that pen. Those were all made by myself. Where these ones are your basic ones, from pencil all the way to paper, acrylic. So yeah, those are basically the brushes that you got here. Just your pencil, your airbrush, your brush, your watercolor, marker, eraser, select pens, select eraser, which are not located up here. Your bucket, your binary, your blur, your crayon, your canvas, acrylic, and your canvas paper. Each one of those brushes have about the same amount of settings, although they slightly vary. Like, pen only has normal and multiply mode, where brush has vivid, deep, and multiply mode. So maybe they'll have a little different modes. They have your sharpness on how sharp you want the edges. Do you want it fuzzy or do you want it really sharp? They got the size meter. They also have these preset size templates. And then you have the min size, which is how much you want to trail off. This is not noticeable if you do not have a tablet. Basically that little tail, if it's all the way up there, then you won't notice it that much, but if it's down here, then you'll notice a little tail drag off as you lift up your pen. It's very handy for line art. Your shapes, which I will actually go into more at the end. Your textures, because the only texture you're actually given is paper texture, paper and canvas, whereas this one you're only given a simple circle. These are actually add-ons, so I will go on to that more at the end. Advanced setting, fast, smooth, 1, 2, 3, 4, which are basically how precise the brush moves. I don't really know because I don't use them that much. I just kind of do whatever I see other people do. The edginess, the min density, for the, which is probably how much you want the density to trail off as you're lifting up your pen. If I had to guess, I should know this stuff. Min, density, pressure, and hard and soft. But yeah, like I said, they slightly vary from thing to thing. Like brush has the blend right here, airbrush does not. But rather than that, that's all the settings for those tools. Clip's got a few more, and they're listed a little differently. So yeah, let's go into that. These are all your main tools. Ignore this one because I added that one here myself. But you have your pencil, which has a lot more. It has darker pencil, lighter pencil, mechanical pencil, colored pencil, rough pencil, real pencil, design pencil, pastels, chalk, crayon, noise, charcoal. You have your paintbrushes, which come in all of these watercolor, oil paints, Indian ink, realistic, and all kinds of different textures for each one of them. I'm not going to go into because it would take so much time, but you've got your regular pen, like G pen, mapping pen. Mapping pen's my favorite to use so far. You've got your marker, like felt tip marker, marker pen, a dotted marker, a flat marker. Then you have your airbrush, which comes in like all kinds of different textures, hard light, shadows, which are kind of like similar to the multiply and luminosity mode in that were listed in Sai. Effects, which is really cool. Some of these I added here myself, like in this section, but all of these were in Sai, and they are so cool. And I think the brushes on, I'm saying Sai again, Clip. All of these things here were pre-installed in Clip, the ones that I'm selecting. That wasn't. This was, and those were. And this is probably what I love the most. Well, these three at the bottom weren't. On Sai is all the brushes. Clip. That is what I like the most about Clip, is all the brushes that are here. Even with the eraser. Oh, it also, that I added myself. That one I added myself. But all of the even the eraser, like you can get like kneaded eraser, which kind of got like some texture to it, which is really cool. I use that in my canal drawing. Hard eraser, which is your normal eraser, soft eraser. So yeah, way more options. And then each brush, once again, difference on the settings. You've got your brush size right here. You've got your pre-size right here, in case you don't want to mess around with that. You've got your hardness, which is basically like how see-through do you want it to be. Brush density, which is no, that's how see-through you want it to be. While this is like how its edges, basically. And then you have the stabilization and brush density. Oh wait, I already went over the brush density. Stabilization. This is the one thing I don't like. Right here, it only has, I don't see a grand stabilization. Like for Sai, you have the, I'm calling it a grand stabilization, but probably master stabilization is more the word. Now, I have really, really shaky hands, and it really sucks if you're an artist, but it's just what I have. My hands do not stay steady for nothing, and especially on this kind of tablet, which is just a Wacom Small Intuos Black. Definitely recommend that tablet. It is affordable and very nice. But yeah, I am able to do that. Let me do a color. Just fine with the stable is on the highest. But when the stable is on 0, nope, it's a little bit more shaky. And plus there's no pressure sensitive. The pressure sensitivity is pretty much out the window. I have no control. Some people I know do 15, I do S7. That is how much I need. I don't see a master stabilization on this. There might be, and I apologize if there is, and I'm just not saying it. I don't mean to diss your software. But this is the only stabilization I have. See, and it starts out at 1 and then it goes up to 15. 15 is not high enough for me, so I have to click the arrow and edit it to 100, and that's about decent enough for me. And even it still feels different than size. So that is the one thing I do not like about the brushes, is the stabilization is just not as good as size is to me. And I don't think that's just a me problem either. I've asked a few other people. So the drawing capabilities for this is kind of a little bit less down. So if I'm going to use this software more in the future, it's probably going to go back and forth between Sai and Clip, just to be able to go back and forth. I think I just said Sai a whole bunch of times. Basically, Clip stabilization is not as good as it is in Sai. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm saying or what I'm not saying. But anyway, yeah, oh, you also have the blur tool and the blend tool, which are really cool. I don't think I showed those. But rather than that, yeah, that's all you can do. Also, you can click this wrench in case you see something that isn't visible. Like, for some things you might not see the stabilization visible. Well, in this case it is visible. the eraser wasn't invisible for its stabilization, but I went into the settings and you can mess around with the things on what is visible and what is not. So there you go. And I think most of the brushes have the same options, whereas like I said for Sai, some things do not have the same, like blending. Brush does not have the blend mode, and pen does not have a blend mode, but brush does have a blend mode. So, yeah. Because I am a silly sheep, I forgot to go over these tools, so I'm going to do them right now and slice this into the video with editing movie magic. So anyway, first you got the bucket tool, which pretty much works the exact same way as Paint Tool Sai's bucket tool does. It just fills things in of how you want it, and you can go into here and edit it to do a little bit more specific things, so it's a little bit more detailed than the bucket tool in Paint Tool Sai. You have the gradient tool, which Paint Tool Sai does not have, at least version 1 does not. Version 2, I think it does have the gradient sky. There is some built-in gradients right here, like rainbow, night sky, midday sky, blue sky, photosphere, and stuff like that. And I know that you can also download ever certain kinds of gradients from the assets section. Then there is the normal paint, which is like the bucket tool, only it works in like a gradient. So like that, you can kind of see where it's kind of like a gradient, so that's really nice. You have your set lines, which are several tools right here. Your set lines, which work like that, which are very similar to the lines in MS Paint. You've got your curved lines, which are like that. You've got your polylines, which pretty much work the exact same as the straight lines. Continuous curve lines, so you can make it keep going and not just do one curve, but multiple different curves. You've got your lasso fill, which basically fills anything that you make into this shape, like that. Your eclipse fill, you can choose it to fill or be transparent or just be like that, which basically just makes circles. How'd I get that over there? Oh, I was leaning on my tablets. And then your polygon, which is that shape. You can also do a square, eclipse, and polygon. And for eclipse, those remind me a lot of the tools in MS Paint. Anyway, then you've got your frame, which are good for like comic books zones. I know that Clip Studio Paint is very good for making comic books and manga pages, so yeah, these are basically tools to help you do that, to make fun panels that you can draw on individually. You've got frame bordered pen, divided frame folder, divided frame border, and then the rectangular frames, and then the polygon frames. And then you have your ruler. Rulers are a whole different thing, but they basically allow you to draw on a straight line, and while you're by them in the vicinity, you can only draw in a straight line. It really does help you, like I said, draw straight lines. And then you have the stem, which is streams up, which basically makes one straight line completely across. You can do dark line streams, which look like that. And then you've got gloom, which makes a whole bunch of lines like that down, so that's really cool. And then you've got rain, which does it in scattered, makes lines go down, but in scattered random sizes to look like raindrops, which is really good if you were drawing like a manga panel and such. Then you have the text tool, which comes with text, word balloons, and balloon tails, and flashes. flash patterns, dense flash, sea urchin flash, and fireworks flash. For the text tool, it comes in almost every single font that's available in MS Paint, from what I can see. Yeah. And then size, the direction, color, rotate, screw, yada yada, I don't know what I'm touching. Then, like I said, you've got more word balloons right here. I don't know why they're in separate places. Personally, I think those should be in there, but anyway, you've got some individual word balloons right here, which are like that. So, again, really good for making manga and comics. And then you have your figure tool, which I have no idea, but you've got your control points, simplified vector lines, adjust lines with width, redraw vector line, pinch vector line, connect vector line, redraw vector line, and remove dust. So if I had to guess, this is something to do with the vector layers, but besides that, yeah, those are the tools that I didn't go over. Oh, and right here, this is your little colors. That's your first color, and that's your secondary color, and this turns any brush that you use into an eraser. And I'm not on a normal layer, so let's just... So yeah, Paint Tool Sai also has that as well. It's, I think they're right there. Secondary color, first color, secondary color, and then exchange normal to transparent, which, like I said, turns any brush that you're using into an eraser. So let's say you're using a spray brush and you don't want to erase, if you want like a little fuzzy effect, you can use your turn your spray brush into an eraser. So yeah, that's pretty much how that works. In the end, I definitely give, are they easy to use? Check for most of them. Performance value, probably going to put a neutral here just for the stabilization. What are its limits? Very good. You've got so many options, and very is nice. Whereas this one's performance value are good, and what are its limits? I'd say neutral. I think it depends on the artist. Not saying that size are bad, it's just that you are a lot more limited, especially if you do not have these textures already downloaded. But I will go into that actually right now. We're done. So I'm going to go into add-ins now. So, yeah. For clip, this one, I already know where it's going to be with this one. Has all of this stuff here. Like I said, this stuff I all added. I added this, I added this, I added this. I added all of these manga textures, which I really love. I added all of this stuff. All of it I added myself. And how I added it was, if you go on to here, there is, this is really cool because it's more than just like your opening for clip. It is like a community, and it is really cool. People post things here like tutorials. They advertise contests that you can enter that I'm not qualified to enter because I'm not good enough. They've got an Ask section, which I should not click because now it's going to take forever to load. And they've got the Assets section. So I'm going to click that, and hopefully it will load in a reasonable time. Just kidding. Here is the Assets section. This is where I downloaded all of my stuff, and it's really easy to install. Basically, I'm actually going to show you. Now, some things cost gold, while other things are free. Like, this is advertised, and if you go right here, it says free right underneath. While certain things say 100 gold, 300 gold. Gold are things that you can form of currency. They're kind of like points on DeviantArt. It costs $10 for 10,000 gold, so that's really good, except for, according to my friend Mayo Aqua, who uses clip way more than me, but who only has clipped because of me, because I recommended to her. She did buy gold, and she said you can only buy them in packs of $10 for like 10,000, I think. So yeah, that kind of stinks, but the stuff here is pretty cheap. I'm seeing a lot of stuff for free, and a lot of stuff you just have to do that, and then you have to exit on that. But anyway, I see a lot of stuff for free, and even stuff that you do have to pay for, it's only like 100 gold. So if you get like 10,000 gold, or then yeah, that's really cheap. Anyway, like I said, you push the download button. It's done downloading. Most of the stuff downloads pretty fast for me. You go onto clip again, and I closed it up, and I'm seeing that was a stupid move because I wasn't done with it. Oh, be quiet. Anyway, then you just drag and drop that into here, and there you have it. You have your very own brush. And it's really simple. And you can see all the details right there. And yeah, it's just really cool. And there's all kinds of things you can buy. You can also download textures. Like, here are my materials. Ah, here it is. There's this, which is a texture instead of a brush. And you can adjust it however you like. You can size it however you like to make it like that or to make it like that. Or you can angle it a certain way. I think you can rotate it too. So yeah, this is like really, really cool. And it's really easy to work. And with Sai, yeah, this is gonna get where Sai gets some more negative press. Sai has add-ons, but doesn't tell you where you can get them or how you can put them in. I have to look up a whole bunch of tutorials, so we're gonna go to YouTube real quick and I'll show you the tutorial that I used and the site where I got them from. And this is where I got my brush textures from. This video right here taught me how to do it, and this is where you download them. But none of this stuff is connected to Sai. You have to look this stuff up yourself. I'm not sure if it's because these brushes are fan-made and they're not officially made by Sai. I'm probably leaning on that, but the fact is you can get them, and they're really hard to get because you have to look that stuff up, and then you have to install them and even do a little bit of coding. So in the end, for clip, are they easy to use? Yes. Performance value? Yes. What are its limits? Now, I'm actually going to put probably a neutral on this, because the one problem I would say with this kind of things is sometimes you can go overboard and you can get carried away, and to the point where you become reliant on this. You only use... One sec. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. But what I was saying is why I'm giving this kind of a neutral on drawing experience is because, like I said, I think you can become over-reliant on it, where, like, this is a frill brush. It's really nice, and it's definitely handy if you just want to do something fast, but at the same time, just because something's fast doesn't mean it's good. Plus, it might take away from your experience. Like, this is a chain brush, which I downloaded, and yeah, it's really handy, and it really is cool. But at the same time, it also means I'm probably not going to draw chains myself for, like, ever, because I'm just like, I have this brush, and that can lead to lazy artwork right there. I apologize for all the noise in the background. Yeah, so this could definitely make you lazy. If you don't know when to use it and when not to use it, you could easily overuse it. And sometimes, by not drawing the things yourself, it could lead to inorganic art that feels more cheaper. So that's why I'm giving that a neutral. For add-ons for Sai, are they easy? No. Performance value? Good. What are its limits? They're okay, so I'm going to put a neutral on them actually as well. Oh, and I think I forgot to judge what are the limits for Sai. I think I meant to put a check. No, a neutral actually. Yep. So anyway, there you have it. Sorry if this video is so scattered, and I probably did muttering and stuttering. I'm probably going to look back at the editing and say, why did I say that, or why did I not say that? So I definitely apologize, but I hope this video is definitely helpful to some people. My end result would definitely say, well, you can look at the screen and tally this up yourself. Wait. For price and website, Clip is definitely better. Sai is a little bit more harder. The price is nice, but it never goes on sale. The website is it's a little bit more fidgety to deal with. The installation is no problem for either one of them. The layout and the screen, like I said, with Sai, in the end I'm coming out with the end results. Sai is just more simple, but it does less. Where Clip is more complicated, but it does more. That's probably my end result. Same thing with the structure, the colors. My biggest problem with the colors is that the color palette in Clip seemed to be a little bit overly complicated. I don't think I needed that. Whereas Sai, it was pretty easy, straightforward. Layer modes, yeah, Clip was wonderful in its layers. It had so many different effects, and you could do so many cool things with it. My biggest problem with Clip is that the selection source was kind of hard to see, but I guess you have those highlighters, so I guess it balances it out. With Paint Tool Sai, my only negative is you have less effects, but I know in Paint Tool Sai version 2, like I said, at least I hope I said, you have more effects in Paint Tool Sai version 2, but more people, like I said, use Paint Tool Sai version 1, and I use Paint Tool Sai version 1, so to me, I'm not going to notice that. For the filters, you can definitely do way more on Clip, whereas Paint Tool Sai is just pretty much your standardized hue and saturation and luminosity controls, which is handy, especially if you're drawing a really big drawing and you just want to adjust something slightly, but it might not always be what you're looking for. Basic tools, I'd say they're a little bit harder, fidgety to use. They're a little bit more fidgety and particular on Clip, but once you get the hang of them, I think they're equally easy. The drawing tools are really good in Clip, and I would say probably my biggest problem with Clip's drawing tools is that you just have the stabilization, like I said. If it wasn't for the fact that the stabilization was so not as good as Sai's, I would give that a plus. I would give that a check on the stabilization, but to me that's a big thing, so I gave it a neutral, but that might not be your problem, so you might be giving that a check as well. For Sai, the stabilization is perfect. It's just what I needed on. It runs just as slow as I needed to keep a balance between my unsteady hands and my pen, so that really helps. And the limits aren't, like I said, you just have less of it. So you're a little bit more limited, and you have to be more creative in what you do. You have to make individual effects or open up another software to make certain effects. Like if you want a star effect, you have to either make a star in Sai, or you have to open up Clip or some other kind of software to get a star, like the kind you see in like nighttime skies. And then for add-ons, this is where Paint Tool Sai does not excel. Are they easy to use? Not at all, because it doesn't even say that. You don't even know where to get them. You don't know which ones are safe and which ones are not safe. You have to look up YouTube tutorials on how to do it. It is not easy, and it is annoying to deal with. Performance value is okay. They perform really good, and there's just not much to say about them. I didn't really go into detail on all the effects that you have, but that would take too long. But you basically got like different shapes of your brush and then different textures of your brush, and that's basically what you can do. And that's all you can add on. You can't add on like textures or anything like that, like for the screen, like what I showed you with Clip. You can just do things for the brushes. What are its limits? I think they're pretty neutral, personally. If anything, I probably should have given that a check, but I'm going to put it on neutral just because I think it's okay. It's not perfect and it's not bad. Add-ons for Clip, however, are really easy to use. There's a lot of tutorials that actually come whisk clip that tell you how to install them. You don't have to look up videos, although I did look up a video to install my first one and to make my own for the stuff that actually comes with clip. I didn't have to look up anything else, and because of the community, there's all those many assets. The performance value of them are really good. The only thing I would say is the downside is sometimes if they're big, they might make your thing run slow, and that can be annoying. And what are its limits? Its limits are the only thing I didn't give a positive in, because I feel like like I said, if you use them too much, you can get lazy and you don't end up doing the effects yourself. Like, there's this one tool that you can make gems with, and like I said, if you use that gem tool all the time, then you're never making gems yourself. They're really good if you're in a rush, but if you don't want to rush your drawing and you want to make a masterpiece, then that's not what I would use all the time. But that's not to say they're all like that. Some of them are just really handy, like manga screen toners and stuff. But anyway, like I said, that's the end of my video. Again, I apologize if I muttered, if I stuttered, if this video was totally pointless, but I hope you got something out of it, and thank you so much for watching.